For over a decade, I've been a professional jazz guitarist and instructor. And if there's one question I get asked more than any other, it's this. Why don't the ideas I practice show up in my solos? We spent hours transcribing, memorizing licks, and working on scales, but when it's time to improvise, it's like all of our hard work disappears. We fall back on old habits. In this lesson, I'm going to give you the 3 methods I teach to all my students to truly internalize any piece of jazz language you learn. You might think it's boring, you might think it's slow, but I promise you it works. So let's start with a piece of jazz language I transcribed. It's a short, powerful lick from the trumpeter Lewis Smith over his solo on Bacon, one of the essential solos I have all my students transcribe. So now what's the first thing you notice about this line? It's short, right? I cannot stress this enough. Do not try to internalize long, complex lines right away. Longer solos and lines are built by piecing together small, manageable fragments. For more information on how to do that, click on the video in the corner of the screen. But for right now, we're talking about internalization. And the first step of that isn't analysis. It's getting the line deep into your ears and under your fingers. And for us guitarists, that means finding one great fingering and making it second nature for that line. For this lick, I start with my 3rd finger as it creates a nice, easy to play shape on the fretboard. Now here's the key. Learn this lick with all the same fingerings across different string sets. This lick uses 3 strings when it's played, so we can play it on 4 different possible string sets. First, we'll play it like we have been in this lesson, starting on the D string. Then starting on the G string. Then starting on the B string. And lastly, moving down to the A string. This step is absolutely essential. It's how you get the line under your fingers and, more importantly, how you begin to visualize it across the fretboard, ready to be linked with other ideas. Once you have the lick under your hands, you need to ask yourself 4 simple questions in order to use it. Answering these questions will unlock the true potential of any piece of language you want to learn. Number 1 is, what is the starting note in relation to the chord that it's played over? Number 2 is, what is the first beat the note is played on? Number 3, how long does the phrase last? And number 4 is, what type of sound is it played over? So let's apply these questions to our Lewis Smith idea. Question 1, what is the starting note in relation to the chord that it's played over? Our lick starts on a B natural and is played over a G7. The B natural is the 3rd of the G7. Question 2, what beat is the first note played on? We can feel that this lick starts right on beat 1 and ends on beat 1 of the next measure. Question 3, how long does the phrase last? I've taken this small, clear fragment from a longer phrase. When you're transcribing, look for these natural starting and ending points for these ideas when you take them. They often align with the chord progression that they're played over. This lick is a very clear 1-bar phrase, which is why I stole it. So question 4 is, what type of sound is this played over? This deals with the chord quality or progression of whatever the line is played over. So for this line, it is played over a simple G7 chord. I would call our line a tonic dominant idea, which is a lick that outlines a dominant chord that doesn't resolve back to its tonic. If you want more information on that concept, then click in the video in the corner of the screen. So now we have all the information we need. It's time to practice. I use 2 main methods for this. The first is called the plug and chug method. It's simple. You play your lick everywhere you can in whatever tune you're playing. So let's use a G blues for our practice tune today. And as you know, in a blues, every chord is a dominant chord. So we're going to try and play our lick over every single one of those. When you do this, only play the lick and do not embellish it. Also try to keep it on the same string set at first. Remember what we learned from our questions. This will help us use the line. So the lick starts on the 3rd of whatever dominant chord we're playing, and it also starts on beat 1. This is how you know how to use it. So let's use the plug and chug on a G blues. Once you can do that comfortably, try moving the idea between various octaves and string sets. At this point, the idea should be feeling more comfortable to you. Now try mixing it in with other language ideas or concepts you may already know. Maybe for this example, we use our lick every time the chord changes and just play the arpeggio of the chord everywhere else. The second method is writing etudes. An etude is a written out solo that focuses on one specific idea or concept. Think about it, if you can't even write out an improvisation using a certain piece of language, how do you expect to play it in real time? The answer is you won't. Writing etudes is literally improvisation, just not in real time. Here's a short etude I wrote that focuses on our Lewis Smith idea mixed in with some other concepts. Notice how I mostly use the idea that we're trying to internalize, but I've also linked it with other phrases that I already have in my vocabulary, along with some of the arpeggios we practiced. Being able to write out clear, coherent ideas we want to come out in our improv is key to using them in real time. If you want this etude, you can find it and hundreds of other etudes over on my Patreon. That'll help you with your practice. Also, I'll be posting a bonus video on Patreon where I work out another piece of language in real time using these processes. The link is below. Once you work through these various processes over the course of weeks or even months, try improvising freely and see if the idea that you've practiced starts to come out on its own. Now, a lot of students at this point will tell me, yes, the idea is coming out, but it feels like I'm just playing an etude or my exercise. It feels like a formula. And you know what? That's right. It might feel that way to you, but to the listener, they don't know that. They just hear great lines and clear musical ideas. And if you do this process enough times with enough different ideas, you'll start to develop a deep vocabulary that you can actually use to create solos in a similar way to how we've been practicing in this video, not just random fragments of theory and exercises strung together. I want to leave you with this. This method isn't magic. It's about putting in deliberate, focused work. The goal isn't to sound like a textbook, but to build a foundation so solid that when you step up to the bandstand, the music flows from you naturally. So, pick a line that you transcribed, get it in your hands and in your ears, ask our 4 questions, and put it to work with our methods. You'll be amazed at what starts to show up in your solos. Thank you all so much for watching this video about how to practice language. If you're interested in more on this topic, I have a masterclass over on my Patreon. You can find the link to that below, where we cover this in detail even more. And remember the bonus video on my Patreon, where we also go through the same process, but with another piece of language. And I also want to give a shout out to those Patreons. Without you guys, none of this is possible, and I truly appreciate your support. Thank you. All right, until the next one, thanks so much for watching, and remember to always keep swinging.